All right, my dear brothers and sisters, if you are watching this video, then that means you have arrived at the incredible book of Job. Now, I think it's a good idea to talk a little bit about this book, and I'm going to get into some of the specifics here. First of all, the book of Job is the first of what we call the books of poetry and wisdom, okay? Now, of course, there are 5 books in this group. We've already talked about one of them, the book of Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Songs. Now, these books are pretty amazing, and we'll get into each one of them, but as we focus on the book of Job, understand that we do believe it is the oldest book in the Bible, number one, and number two, Job does us the favor of dealing with the problem of suffering, and it's a big deal. Now, I want to say this before I get into some of the aspects of this book that you should pay attention to. Number one, it is never wrong to question God as long as you're not charging God, okay? So, for example, there's nothing wrong with going to God and saying, God, why would you allow this to happen? Or why is this happening? Or I don't understand this. But where it becomes a problem is we say, well, God, if you're such a loving God, then why can this happen? Or why would this happen, right? We don't want to charge God because the reality of it is we don't understand the mind of God, and we can never understand the mind of God because it's far superior to our mind. And that really is, in essence, the gist of this incredible book. So for those of you that don't know, Job, the subject matter of the book, goes through tremendous suffering, the likes of which very few people will ever go through in their lives. And it's amazing how he handles all of it. And there are some pretty amazing sections in this book. As a matter of fact, Job 19 happens to be one of my favorite sections. There's another section in Job where Job basically gets confronted by the Lord, right? There's a lot of questions that he gives to God. And then God says, okay, you've got all these questions for me. I've got questions for you. You know, where were you when this happened? And it's actually really good. And so here's why this book is going to be a blessing to you. If right now you are in a place where you're struggling with things, and some of you might be looking at this and saying, well, you know what? I'm not struggling like Job did. I'm not going through the worst things that he's going through, but you should still watch what he went through and be encouraged because you're going to understand a lot of things. First, you're going to understand that God will never, ever, ever, ever put you in a position where Satan just gets to have full reign on you without any kind of permission that goes before his throne room. Understand this. We learn this from the book of Job, that Satan has to get permission from God to mess with you in a very specific way. And then understand this, that if God were to allow that to happen for whatever reason, it's always going to be for your own benefit. You're going to learn that from this book. So a lot of other great lessons to learn from the book. I would greatly encourage you to spend some time analyzing it. I did a great teaching through this whole book. You can go to CalvaryChapelSignalHill.com and you can pull those teachings. Also, there's a lot of teachings available to you on my YouTube page. The Job teachings, they were a few years older, so you'll only have audio files for it, but I think through some of the more difficult passages, it would be great to to just take a moment to listen to those, and I think it would be a real blessing. So, God bless you. This journey through this book is going to be awesome, and your life will never be the same, especially when you look to see God's wisdom in why he allows the things to happen as he allows them. And in some cases, we'll never know the full answer, but in many cases, we will realize that all of those things were done for our benefit and our blessing. And that's the one thing we learned from the book of Job. God is good all the time. God bless you guys.